So this is a video real quick about polite society and how a lot of their rules revolve around emotional maturity. They all boil down to making healthy and appropriate responses, and it's not about morality or rules or judgment. It's about healthy and unhealthy responses. And I'm gonna give an example. Well, I can give a few examples. There's this rule that it is more rude to point out when someone else does something rude than it is to point out that someone else is doing something rude. To point that out is more rude than the thing that person is doing itself. And the reason that is that all it does is start a confrontation. All it does is create unnecessary conflict. One thing that healthy people, there's a couple things that healthy people understand. One is that we all have our own path, and we all have our own things to learn in our own time, and we're allowed that time to do that. Another thing they understand is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, and you can't force anybody to see anything differently than what they're currently capable of perceiving based on their own level, or really lack thereof, of maturity. So I can look back in my life, and there's been times where I was currently incapable of understanding how and why somebody responded the way that they do, and I now look back and see that they responded in a healthy way. They saw, oh shit, this kid's fucking batshit crazy. I'm not going to engage with him. And I never understood that. I never understood like how, when someone, I never could understand how people reacted sometimes. And that's, because I wasn't ready to hear it. Had they explained, I would have just, become defensive and argumentative and confrontational, because that's what people do when they're not ready to face what's underneath their ego, when they're not able or ready to tell the truth about what is that, so what it's bringing up for them within themselves. So here's another example about polite society, the rules of polite society, and how they relate to emotional health and well-being. So if somebody gives you a compliment, and you're like, "Hey, nice tie," and you're like, "Oh, this old thing," being like, "Oh, well," making some sort of like excuse or remark. What that implies is that the other person doesn't have bad taste. It's like, no, I gave you a compliment, and then you're like trying to disregard my compliment because you feel insecure or you feel uncomfortable. Like, there's nothing the matter with accepting a compliment. Like, just being like, oh, thanks. Like, I'm glad you like this. Anytime that I've ever felt defensive around stuff, it's because I felt like I had something to explain, and really, like, it's like I felt like I had something to explain because I had a value judgment on something, and really, in turn, what I was doing is I was behaving rudely. Like, it's not about how we feel that matters. It's about how we affect other people, and why we're doing the things that we're doing. Like, no one cares if like your bracelet is real or not. No one cares about like whatever neurotic defensive thing that we got in our heads about stuff. Like, no one cares. It's not a big deal. No one has any value judgment on stuff. Like, if someone's paying you a compliment, it's because they actually like it. They're like, they don't need anything from you. they're trying to share, or they're trying to just, be a human being and give a shit. Yeah, so those are my thoughts on those are my thoughts on the matter. Yeah, so quit being rude when somebody gives you a compliment. Like, quit being an asshole. Fucking, you deserve to have compliments too. That's another reason why people like shirk that stuff off. Like, oftentimes people feel uncomfortable accepting compliments because they don't feel like they're worthy of compliments, or they don't feel like they're worthy of receiving good things in their lives. And we all deserve good things. We all deserve to have unlimited good things in all the ways that we want and need and crave good things. And there's enough for everybody. A lot of that defensiveness also comes from scarcity mentality, and or having having negative attachment value judgments around on what's worthwhile and what's not. Like, healthy, balanced people, they know that it's just a thing. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether the price tag that we have attached to things isn't. That's the thing. That stuff only matters to poor people. Like, rich people don't care. Like, because they know that the things that are most important are like genuine relationships, being emotionally and physically healthy, being socially wealthy. Having quality, nourishing, enriching experiences, relationships, and having a real life. So okay. This video ended up being way longer than I thought it was going to. So those are my thoughts. Thanks. Bye.